The FDA announced that a new vaccine from Johnson & Johnson has been proven effective, including against the coronavirus variants, and could be hitting the streets this weekend. Plus, unlike the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, it works with one dose and doesn't need to be kept in freezers. So this vaccine is basically as low maintenance as you pretend to be on your first date. And with vaccine availability improving, more and more people are able to get their shots. And experts actually say that America will soon be giving out nearly 2 million doses a day. So with 330 million Americans, 2 million doses a day, that means the pandemic will be over in 6? But this is still America, which means not everyone is getting access to the vaccines equally.
The big gap in who gets the coronavirus vaccine in the U.S. Information from 23 states that report COVID vaccinations by race and ethnicity shows a stark difference in the rollout.
Black Americans are hospitalized for COVID at almost triple the rate and are at least 1.5 times more likely to die from this virus than white Americans. But just over 5% of Americans vaccinated are black versus more than 60% who are white.
Cities like Philadelphia and Chicago, with a black population double or triple the percent receiving COVID vaccine.
Unfortunately, in New York City, we learned that we had managed to vaccinate more non-New York City residents here in New York City than we had vaccinated Black, Hispanic, and Native American New Yorkers combined.
Well, 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 if it isn't my old arch nemesis, racism. What are you doing here? What's that? Oh, you're pretty much everywhere? Yeah, that's a fair point. But this is crazy, people. According to the available data, New York has vaccinated more out-of-towners than minorities who actually live here in New York. I mean, they need to beef up the screening process. You know, like before giving someone a shot, just ask them to walk 6 feet on a sidewalk, and then if they stop and look up at a building to admire it, you send their ass back to Connecticut. And this isn't just a New York problem. This is an America problem. Since black people are getting sicker at a higher rate, they should be getting vaccinated at a higher rate because they need it more. It's the same reason you hand out free condoms on college campuses, not at a LARPing camp. So why are black people falling so far behind? Well, let's find out why in another installment of If You Don't Know, Now You Know. There are two universal truths to living in America. One, every holiday is a mattress sale in disguise. And two, the wealthier you are, the easier it is to access life's necessities. And unfortunately, that's one big reason why black people are having a hard time getting the vaccine.
Race and income really determine your access to resources, and that's no different with COVID.
Studies show more than 30% of black adults don't have broadband internet, leaving many without information online about where and how to get vaccinated.
If you don't have great high-speed internet, you don't have a computer, how can you jump in line to make an appointment?
Black residents are significantly more likely than white residents to live more than a mile from the closest vaccination facility. Researchers also found black people are less likely than whites to live near a pharmacy, clinic, hospital, or health center that can administer COVID-19 vaccines.
Over 50% of the Chicago black communities were so-called pharmacy deserts, low-income neighborhoods where pharmacies are far from the population and people don't have regular access to vehicles, compared with just 5% in white communities.
San Francisco's pharmacy desert is zip code 94124. 92% of the population is black and Hispanic, and there's only one retail pharmacy for the more than 35,000 people who live there.
Where do they go if they don't have a personal or primary care physician? And the answer in many cases is there's nowhere to go.
That's right. Many black neighborhoods don't even have a pharmacy. There are so few pharmacies that I'm surprised Republicans haven't made them voting locations. And this is especially messed up because in most white neighborhoods, there are pharmacies everywhere. I mean, everywhere. One time, I went into a Walgreens that had a CVS inside of it. And it's also crazy how many people still don't even have broadband. Before America makes vaccination appointments dependent on high-speed internet, maybe they should sign everyone up for high-speed internet. And then a month later, once those people are done going through all the internet porn, then they can get around to making an appointment. So, If you don't have the internet to schedule an appointment, and you don't have a local pharmacy to administer the shot, and you don't have transportation to a vaccine distribution center, what do? I mean, at that point, you might as well just make the vaccine yourself. Which I tried, by the way, but I didn't have any mRNA in my house, so I just used barbecue sauce. I mean, it didn't work, but my blood tastes delicious. But for the black community, the barriers to getting vaccinated go way beyond a lack of resources. There's also a psychological barrier. Many black people are just reluctant to get the shot. Because the truth is, they trust the medical community less than they trust the Golden Globes. And that suspicion may seem irrational to outsiders, but trust me, it is grounded in some very real history.
There is, especially among the black community, a horrible history of mistreatment that has created distrust in doctors and medicine.
African Americans were experimented on, used essentially to justify the cruelty of slavery, creating science.
This book from 1851, titled The Natural History of Human Species, echoed one of the most prevalent and dangerous beliefs in medicine at the time, that black people did not feel pain or anxiety.
The federally sanctioned Tuskegee experiment sought to examine the long-term effects of syphilis by letting infected black men go untreated with no regard to the suffering it caused.
There was also Henrietta Lacks, a mother of 5 who in 1951 sought treatment for a tumor. She passed away later that year. Scientists, without her consent or her family's knowledge, harvested her cells for medical research.
The ties between race and medical treatment have lasted hundreds of years, and they're still alive in medicine today. The University of Virginia conducted a study of 200 white medical students in 2016. 40% thought black skin was thicker than white skin. The study also revealed that some doctors think black patients feel less pain.
Excuse me? Black people don't feel pain? Well, I guess you've never met a man named Michael Jordan. He's been crying about everything for 10 years. I mean, black people invented the blues. Nobody feels pain like black people, except for Adele. That woman has been through some shit. But this is why so many black people are suspicious of the medical community, because that community has betrayed them again and again and again. And you're not going to trust people who have betrayed you that many times. Well, unless you're Mike Pence. But unfortunately, this mistrust actually hurts black people, because these vaccines are safe. Believe me on this, white people would never let Martha Stewart get one if it was dangerous. I mean, if something ever happened to her, they would have no idea how to match their centerpieces to their napkin holders. It would be chaos. And because this anti-vaccine sentiment is hurting the black community, black leaders are now stepping in to try and get the message out through an institution that the community does trust, the church.
Black churches have long been a source of guidance and strength for the community it serves. It's the reason why black clergy across the country are teaming up with medical professionals and local officials to educate and encourage people to get the COVID-19 vaccine.
Dr. Anthony Fauci in a virtual face-to-face with Baltimore's faith and community leaders.
We need your help.
Part of a strategy aimed at getting a message in to the black community.
On Friday, black pastors from several Boston churches received their first round of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. They're also here to educate and reassure the minority community the vaccines are safe.
Reverend Liz Walker says she preaches about 3 things: truth, love, and lowering anxiety. Her focus now is spreading the truth about the vaccine. Half her congregation says they won't take it. Some believe God will save them.
I always respond that, yes, you should put your trust in God. But remember, God uses doctors.
That's right. God uses doctors. I mean, not all doctors. You know, Dr. Phil is the devil's work. But doctors who are actually doctors, well, they're doing the Lord's work. And props to people like Dr. Fauci for speaking to black churches and for not doing that thing that white people do when they visit a black church, where they start talking like Martin Luther King Jr. And I can tell you that we as a people will get to herd immunity. Hey, man, you can just use your normal voice. Oh, thank God. Oh, my voice was killing me. And if you ask me, black church is the #1 place to reach black people. I mean, the only other place that would make sense is a Versus on Instagram and a black barbershop. But that one wouldn't work, because then they just get sidetracked debating which vaccine is the greatest of all time. Nah, man, listen up. Polio is the greatest vaccine of all time. The hell it is, man. What about mumps? Mumps? Man, don't bring that mumps bullshit into my shop. Look, the point is, encouraging vaccination through the church is a great idea. It's actually something that The Daily Show wants to get behind, which is why we asked Pastor Roy to help us out.
Thank y'all for logging on to the Lord this morning. It has come to my attention that some of y'all are looking at the COVID vaccine the way Jesus looked at Judas during the Last Supper. Suspicious. And look, I understand that the medical community has done unholy things to black people, but I'm here to tell you to put your trust in the trinity of Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson. Because if you get the Rona, Jesus can't put his hands on you. He's social distancing. So I want you to let Jesus and that vaccine into your soul, or at least into your left shoulder. Look, I don't think y'all hit me. I said, I want you to let Jesus and that vaccine into your soul. See, I need some help in here. Somebody get me my soldiers of the Lord. I want you to baptize yourself in the healing waters of the vaccine.
Get your vaccine. Get your vaccine.
Push out the Antichrist and let in the antibodies.
Water in the wine. Vaccine in the mind. Water in the wine. Vaccine in the mind.
I want you vaccine atheists to believe.
Preach, brother.
Do not be led astray by false Facebook prophets.
Don't listen to your Uncle Fred. He is not a doctor.
Let the vaccination be your salvation from your isolation. Amen.
Go outside, 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 go outside.
Blessed are the immune, for they shall inherit the earth. From the movie theater to the gym, all the way to the promised land of Red Lobster.
Ultimate family feast.
Now, I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I think we done made the point. Also, I gotta wrap this up. My little boy got a clarinet lesson over Zoom. I only paid for the free 40-minute version. Praise Jesus, and God bless Dr. Fauci. And I'll see you next week for the booster shot.